Okay. Shalom, family. It's good to see everybody here. As you know, Donald Trump is going to tariff the pharmaceutical companies, big pharma. And let me tell you the impact this is going to have on many people that pay for meds. It is going to send the cost of medicine through the roof. I want to show you this. All of the pharmaceutical companies are in the red. I'm showing you Bristol Myers Squibb because back in the day, I used to work for them. I was a network engineer for Bristol Myers Squibb years ago. And ladies and gentlemen, they know I don't say anything when people talk about salaries or salaries of family members. I don't say anything. But when people tell me, oh, well, this person makes this and this person make that, a lot of times I made those salaries that I hear today, and I'm not kidding. I made those salaries back in the 90s. When I was an engineer, a network engineer at Bristol Myers Squibb back in the 90s, I was already making 60 an hour. Okay, I was making that back in the 90s. So when people say, oh, this person makes this an hour, and I usually don't say nothing, but in today's society, that's not very impressive. And look at all the inflation out here. I mean, the inflation is ridiculous. When I was making that same salary back in the 90s, oh, the cost of living was nowhere near what it is today. I really got to enjoy that salary in a big way. But these folks now, these young folks now that are making that, it's not the same. And y'all know it. Y'all know exactly what I mean. It is not the same having that 60 an hour. Yeah, it's probably better than most salaries, but everything is being soaked up. Your rent, your mortgage, your by the time you put food on the table, pay your insurance. You know what I mean? Pay all your utilities. You don't have a lot left like you did back in the day. It is not the same. So, I mean, now you're hearing about people making six figures and they still can't make it. But one thing I can tell you from working at a pharmaceutical company myself, they pay good. If you can get in one, oh, the pay is great. Um, I had a lot of people I knew at Bristol Myers Squibb, and Merck is another one. I had a lot of friends that worked at Merck, and they did pretty much the same thing that I did, you know, and their salaries were even, I think, were even higher than what Bristol Myers Squibb was paying. But if you can get in a pharmaceutical company, get in. Get in. It is definitely worth it as far as the pay. They pay way more than any other industry out here. So, that being said, you can see how down the stocks are. It pretty much crashed out in big pharma. What this is going to do, y'all, is going to raise the price of medicine. And I feel for anybody that is paying out of pocket for meds. I was listening to a video. It must have still been back in February. It was a black man, and he was saying that when Joe Biden was in office, his diabetes medicine was only $6 a month. And that's what he was paying, $6 a month. He said when Donald Trump took office, and start doing all these tariffs, it went from, I mean, no, his got messed up from the executive orders, not tariffs. Let me take that back. He did all these executive orders. Now, that same medicine that he was paying $6 a month for is now, he said it was like $280 for the same exact meds under Donald Trump. And there are a lot of people out here that got insurance, but their prescription plans are not that good. And so now they are looking at spending more money. And I do feel for people. I got family members with heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, the usual things that you would see in many of our families. And some of my relatives are fine, they get their meds covered. And I have some that are struggling to pay. So it's tough out here. It is tough. Peak, peak. You said yes. My mom went to $400 on a fixed income. See, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. But y'all, this is going to happen to a lot of people out here. My fear is some people are going to give up and just go because they're not going to be able to manage the health care that they're already paying. It's already too high. It's already too high. T of Yah said Heart's meds went from $20 to $200. Yes. And this did not happen until Donald Trump went into office. And y'all, I wish I could tell you it's going to get better. Once he put these tariffs that he said he's going to do on big pharma, it's going to probably be way higher than that $200. You know, I have family members, and, a lot of them take the Entresto. That's a heart med that they take that's supposed to build up and make the heart muscle stronger. One day I was just sitting around and I said, I wonder what that cost. That one med cost almost $800. That Entresto, if you had to pay out of pocket for it right now, that med is $800. That is outrageous. That is outrageous. Medicine. Right. Medicine is about to go through, it's already too high, but it's really going to be off the charts when he do this. So, um, we're on a plan where it's covered, but many people are not. I don't take anything for granted, but this is what Donald Trump wants to do, y'all. This is what he wants to do. So he made a major announcement yesterday that he is about to do tariffs, major tariffs on pharmaceuticals. And today, of course, every time this man talks about tariffs, the market crash. And it's all in the red as usual. So a lot of people are concerned right now, especially people that are heavily invested in pharmaceutical companies, which I used to be back in the day. I'm not anymore. But when I was working for Bristol Myers Squibb, I did have their stock as well. So for the past 5 days, Pfizer has dipped more than 10%, Merck 9%, and Dow Jones Pharmaceutical Index went down 12%. So the industry is bracing for a crash, of course. and they're staying quiet about the threat that this is going to have on consumers. So they are concerned about the growing cost that's going to occur. Um, the FDA, they are trying to fight against it and hope that there's some kind of way they can slow down the prices, because the thing is, y'all, when he do these tariffs, the prices are going to jump up immediately. So it's not going to be a slow process. It's going to be a big bang on a lot of people out here. So, and I think it's going to be so many people that's not going to be able to handle it. There are concerns of the growing drug prices, and of course, the market is reacting to this shakeup, and they're not happy. A lot of people are not happy. Eli Lilly produces a lot of, y'all know about the Ozempic and those type of drugs, those GLP-1 drugs. Well, their stock slipped over 9% over the past 5 days. So Lilly is likely to be impacted, and there's a lot of people. There's millions of people on those GLP-1 drugs to lose weight. I sure hope they're not paying out of pocket, because they may not be able to afford it after Trump dropped these tariffs. So Trump is also, although Elon was talking about Medicare and Social Security, and Trump is saying, oh, that's not going to be touched. That's not all the way true. If you go and look over the past several weeks, they've been closing Social Security offices around the country. So they know the public is going to be upset about this. So now that they have seen the public outcry, they're now trying to do it silently. That's all. That's what I believe they're doing. I don't believe they're backing off at all. When they saw how bad people reacted to Elon, now they're doing it, but quiet. And before you know it, your Medicare and your Social Security will be impacted. So Robert F. Kennedy Jr., of course, a lot of people are not happy with him. And, he's not really throwing his big support behind the people, but behind what Donald Trump is doing. And see, having a non medical person in charge of health and human services, I say to this very day, that's a huge mistake. So a lot of people have questions now. You think they were already upset at these Republican town hall meetings. They're going to really go over the edge over this one. So how much of a tariff is he going to put on pharmaceutical companies? He is saying 25% tariffs on drugs that cost several dollars to make, for his tariffs. So ultimately, it's going to cost thousands of dollars for some people just to get one drug, y'all. 25% tariffs on drugs, prescription drugs in this country. So, of course, who's going to be hit the hardest? Taxpayers. Taxpayers. Because it's going to impact everything about the medicine, including production cost. I went out this morning to look at how much of a breakdown of the meds that we get from overseas, a big portion of the medicine, which will be Donald Trump will be doing tariffs on, is India and China. India and China provides the biggest amounts of meds. Most meds are shipped in here. 90% of the meds are shipped into the US. Only 10% of medicines are made here in the US. And China sends over 120 billion pills per year. And you see what he's doing to China. He put a 104% tariff on China that went into effect today. And of course, China is saying they will retaliate. They will. And they already have. They announced an 84% tariff on the US. So, yes, all of this stuff that Donald Trump is doing is even going to impact the meds that are shipped from overseas. So, y'all, I hope people are not struggling bad out here to pay for meds already, because it's about to get worse. Donald Trump literally wants to destroy this place. He wants this place completely destroyed. And he is working towards that. And unfortunately, in the process of destroying this place, there's a lot of people whose lives are going to be destroyed as well. Yeah, I mean, Cynthia Price, you said you work at a pharmaceutical company, see, and people are struggling to pay for medication. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. And I know a few people that are barely being able to pay for the meds they need now. And with all these cuts and everything they're doing for the government, they're going to make it virtually impossible for you to even get on any type of program that can help you. But I'm going to give you one. And I'll put it in the comment. Look for this. Okay. Go online and print out a universal RX form. Whenever you need meds, if you're paying out of pocket, take this up to your doctor's office and have them fill it out for the med that you need. And what Universal RX will do, they can knock off up to 80% of the prescription price. Get the form online. Just type in Universal RX. Universal RX. A lot of people don't even know about this, which is a shame. And you got to fill out your portion. The other portion goes to your doctor's office, and you got to fax it in. I think you can either email it or fax the form in. And what if you get like generic brands of your drugs, it will take off up to 80% off the cost of the meds. All right. Everybody should be able to just type that in and get the form online. So if you need it, use it. Use it. Yeah, of course they still got fax machines. In fact, my printer at home got a fax machine on it, and my printer is a 4-in-1. So y'all, please, do everything you can. If you can find any other forms, make sure, but Universal is pretty good. It's probably one of the best ones out there. And yes, you're going to have to do that for each med. So let's say you're on 3 different medications, then you need to do a form for each one of those medications and take it up to your doctor's office. And once they receive it, you should be able to receive the discounts that you need. Yeah. So, yeah, it can knock off up to 80% off of your prescription price. All right. And it's really an easy process and it's quick. They get to it pretty quickly too once you get the form back. It's not like you send it back and you got to wait a month. It's nothing like that. They usually get to it pretty fast. Mhm. Yeah, I mean, it is scary, for a lot of people out here, and I certainly understand. I do. I really truly do understand. Mhm. So y'all, make sure you take care of yourselves and do what you have to do because it's just going to get worse. He's going after so many industries, y'all. It's going to get worse. I just saw, I think it's Cornell University and another university, Donald Trump cut off federal funding because I guess they didn't get rid of their Black history programs. This thing with the history is absolutely ridiculous. So they have been defunded. They can't get any federal funding now. Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah, well, he is insane, but unfortunately, people voted for him and now we are dealing with the insanity. But what we got to do is look for workarounds. That's what we have to do. We can't let this man defeat us. We have to find workarounds that will help. You know, we don't have to sit here and suffer because of this man at all. Hmm. Yeah, well, the protest is over. We'll see how much they are going to fight Donald Trump because you can't tell me these folks aren't on all kinds of medications because they most certainly are. So we'll see how they react when these med prices go up. And, I feel bad for a lot of cancer patients because I see them online talking about how much their meds are, with their cancer. So, like I said, it's going to get tough out here for a lot of people. And people like Donald Trump don't care. They don't feel nothing for another living soul. The only time folks like that care is if it's something that's going to impact them. If it's not impacting them, they don't care about the rest of us at all. Hmm. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll definitely come back together again on another topic. Shalom, family.